On January 6, 2023, the first full moon of the year, Peter Gabriel released a new song, Panopticon, which would be the lead track from his long-awaited album entitled Io, over 20 years in the making. Gabriel would continue releasing new songs from the album once a month, on every full moon, for the remainder of the year. In December 2023, once all 12 songs had been released, the album as a whole was issued in 3 separate mixes. Bright Side and Dark Side mixes, continuing the lunar theme, and an inside mix in Dolby Atmos. The album title is also, not coincidentally, moon-related. As Gabriel explained, Io means 2 things. It stands for input-output, but it's also one of Jupiter's moons. I used to do this full moon club even way back. There's been a moon theme for a number of years. While the various lunar references in conjunction with the release of the album are intriguing, unsurprisingly there are many, many more deep connections with his earlier work that Gabriel has embedded within this new music. The album's title track, Io, describes the way in which all life is connected, implying that this connection takes place not just in the here and now, but across all time. The lyrics say, "So we think we really live apart 'cause we got 2 legs, a brain, and a heart. We all belong to everything, to the octopus suckers and the buzzard's wing, to the elephant's trunk and the buzzing bee's sting, stuff coming out, stuff going in. I'm just a part of everything." Just as Gabriel is a part of everything in the universe, the music on Io is a part of everything Gabriel has created, connecting songs from his whole career, reaching through time to continue stories he began telling decades earlier. As a metaphor for the way all living things are connected, the songs on this album extend like tendrils across space and time to interlink his entire body of work. As Uncut said, the album is your favorite elements of Peter Gabriel's career, but reworked into wholly original material. 7 of the 12 songs on the album make some reference to this theme of connectivity, either passively or overtly. One of the more prominent examples, Olive Tree, is another song whose lyrics explore the theme of the connection between humans and the rest of the universe, developing the broader concept whereby in this world and beyond, every element is linked to the others. The chorus declares, "I've got the cool breeze right on my skin, bringing every cell to life, making all connections live, from one point to another, and we're all here just the same, trying to make some sense of it, where I'm going now, and how it fits together in the bigger shape of things." Again, emphasizing the notion that all things are related, Gabriel prepares us for the deeper metaphor that all of his music is connected. With Io, he didn't simply create a concept album, but rather an album that provides an overarching concept for his entire career. And there are precedents to the idea that much of Gabriel's output is connected. David Fricke described Gabriel's first 4 albums as being one collection, part of one body of work. Sarah Hill concurred, saying that by isolating structural and thematic characteristics, it is possible to consider his first 4 solo albums, as he originally intended, as 4 issues of the same magazine. Darrell Easley drew significance even in the way these 4 albums were officially untitled, but informally became known as Car, Scratch, Melt, and Security, saying, "The fact his albums gained 2 names underlines a key aspect of his work. Gabriel is a Gemini character, seemingly always facing 2 directions. When you see one thing, you are really getting another." Even aside from the first 4 albums, Hill drew connections in Gabriel's music stretching over a much longer span of time, positing that Gabriel's song Secret World, the closing track from 1992's Us album, may be an extension of Supper's Ready, the seminal Genesis track from 1972. Gabriel described Secret World as being about the private world that 2 people occupy and the overlap of their dreams and desires. Though they appeared 20 years apart, Hill concluded that the New Jerusalem, the hope which closed Supper's Ready, could very well have been this secret world. Another instance of Gabriel connecting songs from different eras is the character Mozo, invented by Gabriel in the mid-70s to serve somewhat as an alter ego, allowing him to explore a different part of his psyche. Holm Hudson described Mozo as a trickster character, resembling Coyote in Native American stories. Gabriel had initially intended to make a rock opera based around this character, but his plan quickly shifted to one more intriguing. Spencer Bright wrote that Gabriel wanted to scatter songs about Mozo over several albums, though they would make a complete story when put together. As Easley remarked, Gabriel would grapple with this overarching idea right through the So album in 1986. This character was an intentional effort on Gabriel's part at linking songs across albums and across time. Though he abandoned the Mozo character decades ago, on Io, Gabriel continues linking songs from different eras. Each song on the album contains multiple references to other music from his back catalog. They lead us as if through a kind of wormhole to songs from Gabriel's previous albums, forming the perception that all of these songs, stories, and characters belong to the same world, though they may require a backwards leap of 40-plus years. The fluidity and cyclicity of time, however, is something Gabriel has been comfortable with throughout his career. The chorus of Blood of Eden, for instance, says, "So we end as we began," emphasizing the cyclic nature of time. In a musical metaphor, the Melt album begins with the syncopated drum beat of Intruder and, aside from some vocal chanting, ends with the drums of Biko playing a similar rhythm. Thus, the album ends as it began, suggesting that it repeats in an endless cycle. Easley posits that Come Talk to Me seems to fade out sharply and then take an age to actually disappear. Whether intentional or not, it gives the idea that the conversation is continuing in a permanent loop, going on long after the listener has been allowed to eavesdrop. These themes of time continue on Io. The song So Much, for instance, says, "Time slips in the mirror. As an old man I was born, but I've grown to be a baby." Gabriel is quite content to age forwards or backwards in the blink of an eye. In discussing the album and its tour, Uncut observes, "The passing of time on a grand scale even dominated the staging of the accompanying I.O. tour in 2023. Each concert started with a virtual recreation of the Big Bang, advancing a few billion years through the course of the show. And even the release schedule of the album focused on issues temporal." The album's third track, Playing for Time, also addresses issues temporal. While the theme of the song is time as it relates to the process of human aging, Gabriel also touches on the notion that some things exist outside of time. He sings, "Any time, any day, any moment that we bring to life will never fade away. These moments that will never fade away shirk the issue of impermanence, suggesting perhaps that everything that has ever happened is, in fact, always happening." The chorus goes on to state, "There's a hill that we must climb through all the mists of time," seemingly a reference to the first single of Gabriel's solo career, which opens with the line, "Climbing up on Salisbury Hill." Thus, Playing for Time, which comes, one would assume, near the end of Gabriel's career, and which deals with the passage of time, loops us back to the beginning of his career. Through all the mists of time, Gabriel has been climbing up on Salisbury Hill. It is a moment that will never fade away. 10 of the 12 songs on Io make some reference to the passage of time. Gabriel wants the listener to be aware of the theme of time in the album, just as he wants the theme of connection to be readily apparent. He's preparing us to make the leap across the span of his career and observe the bonds between songs seemingly so far apart. Each song on Io makes reference lyrically and/or musically to one or more songs from Gabriel's previous albums. At times, the references are quite subtle or draw only a vague connotation of an earlier song. Other times, the references are blatant, feeling as though Gabriel wants them to be unmistakable. Let's take a closer look at some of the more overt relationships. In a YouTube video discussing the differences in the bright side and dark side mixes of Panopticon, recording engineers Thiessen and Weyer observe a curious guitar riff embedded in the musical texture during the coda. They point out that at 4:49 in Panopticon, an electric guitar teases digging in the dirt. While it's a simple 4-note pattern, shown in purple in the example, it is without question the same figure that forms the primary riff in 1992's Digging in the Dirt, albeit a whole step lower. Lyrically, the second verse of Panopticon alludes to searching for something deep below the ground, another possible reference to digging in the dirt. Panopticon is the first song on I.O., and it fades out about 25 seconds after the guitar's initial tease of digging in the dirt. In an odd bit of symmetry, 25 seconds into the following song, The Court, Gabriel sings "Dug in the garden in the softest ground." Apparently, he wanted to make sure we got the reference. Later in the album, Four Kinds of Horses states, "We feel the vibration, we're all holding it down. We feel the vibration, it's coming out of the ground." Again, Gabriel evokes the image of digging in the earth to uncover something, be it pain, love, evidence, or the vibration shared by everyone in the universe. I.O.'s Olive Tree has several direct links to Red Rain, the opening track from 1986's So album. Lyrically, Olive Tree's "I've got the water falling on me, water falls on me, and water falls on us, pouring from the head," are clear echoes of "Red rain is pouring down all over me." Olive Tree also features musical references to Red Rain, the most obvious of which occurred during the instrumental interlude at 5:08, recalling elements of the earlier song's bridge beginning at 2:37. The fast hi-hat work alone in this section of Olive Tree is suggestive of the So opener. Additionally, the keys of these two passages are also related, or more precisely are relative, meaning that they share the same key signature and collection of pitches, but have a different pitch center. And it's appropriate that Olive Tree should be in G major, the relative major of Red Rain's E minor, because it offers generally a more positive, optimistic outlook. Where Red Rain presents an apocalyptic landscape, Gabriel said that Olive Tree is a celebration in a way, and there's a real sense of being alive. There are also similarities in the synth melodies that accompany these sections. The Olive Tree melody is a rough inversion of the Red Rain theme, descending then ascending, where Red Rain ascends before descending. The two use a similar pitch collection, F, G, B, C in Olive Tree, G, A, B, C in Red Rain. Thus, they share three pitches, G, B, C, and utilize an additional pitch a whole step away from G in a mirrored relationship. Olive Tree includes F, a whole step below G. Red Rain includes A whole step above G. This whole step relationship is seen in several other iterations in these passages. It's present in the melodic figures of each theme, both of which utilize an ascending whole step occurring on the "and" of beat 2. F to G in the second bar of Olive Tree, A to B in the first bar of Red Rain. In both songs, bassist Tony Levin opts not to play the root of the chord on the downbeat, which would be a typical function of the bass in a pop song, but rather begins with a note a whole step below the root before stepping up, once again emphasizing that whole step relationship. Love Can Heal, the ninth track from I.O., continues thoughts first broached in So's Don't Give Up. On the surface, the latter was an epic political ballad concerning the emotional effects of unemployment. Gabriel's first wife, Jill, however, recognized it as a song about their relationship, which was falling apart at the time. Focusing on the underlying message of the song, Spencer Bright said the lyrics demonstrate that pain can be soothed by the succor of loved ones. Love Can Heal reiterates that sentiment almost verbatim, though in a more direct and universal manner than Don't Give Up, shedding the circumstances of job loss. The lyrics state, "Whatever mess you found yourself within, regardless how you got there, love can heal." In both Don't Give Up and Love Can Heal, Gabriel seems to find security with the love of a woman. And in each song we hear a woman's voice as the voice of reason and support, singing the titular refrain.
Don't give up, 'cause you have friends. Don't give up, you're not beaten yet.
The first time we hear the Love Can Heal refrain, it's sung by a single female voice. In subsequent refrains, Gabriel adds his voice, becoming stronger and more confident with each repetition, suggesting he is gaining strength as he repeats the mantra. The title track, Io, links to several songs from Gabriel's early career, but perhaps most notably the Willow Farm section of Supper's Ready. The program notes for Supper's Ready state that Willow Farm is a place where life flows freely, foreshadowing the following lyrics of Io. I'll be all laid to rest in my proper place, into the roots of an old oak tree where life can move freely in and out of me. Thus, this old oak tree where Gabriel will be laid to rest seems to reside in Willow Farm. The lyrics to Willow Farm also contain the phrase, we've got some in, we've got some out, similar to Io's stuff coming out and stuff going in, and I'm coming out, I'm going in. Willow Farm, though it's only a short section of Supper's Ready, held particular significance to Gabriel. He spent much time, effort, and money over the course of several decades dreaming up a theme park that would offer experiences based on his music. As early as 1972, Gabriel stated, "One of my ambitions, which I'd like to get off the ground, is to create a sort of Willow Farm in reality." The concept of a Willow Farm park would ultimately morph into a Secret World park in the 90s. He wanted Willow Farm and then the Secret World to be a place he and others could actually go and experience, though at the time of this writing it has yet to come to fruition. Lyrical themes dating back to his Genesis days would recur often throughout Gabriel's solo career. According to Chris Welch, Supper's Ready explores the complexities of human relationships, the threat of external forces, and the ultimate power of love to heal. Replace Supper's Ready with Io in that statement, and you have a good summation of the thematic material of the album. Those three subjects, in addition to water, roads or travel, and the time and connection themes discussed earlier, are ever present on Io. While some references may be tenuous, cryptic, or somehow concealed, others are overt and seemingly intentional. All, however, lead to a web of connectivity encompassing Gabriel's entire oeuvre. In a 2020 interview, he commented that songs should be seen as processes, not product. In other words, living things that can absorb, reflect, and evolve in their lifetime. You need to create situations where things don't just stop in time, where they are responding to what's going on and to the changes in you and the world around you. The stories Gabriel told on his earlier albums did not stop in time in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. He continued telling them, revising them, shedding new light on them, giving us a new perspective on them. Thiessen and Weyer remarked that the album Io is full of self-references. According to Uncut, the album as a whole can be viewed as something of a stroll through Gabriel's career to date. And perhaps one could be satisfied in recognizing that Io is filled with many of the artist's recurring themes. A more intriguing conclusion, however, is that the album creates, or rather reinforces, the perception that all of Gabriel's songs, stories, and characters belong to the same universe. If the not yet realized Willow Farm Secret World Experience Park is the world Gabriel has created in his music, Io is the paths, streets, and trams that lead us from one experience to the next. The album blurs the lines between one song or one experience and another, leading us to the inevitable conclusion that they are all part of one world. In the first and last lines of the title track, Gabriel sings, "I'm just a part of everything." And just as he is connected to all life on the planet, past or present, so too are these songs connected to everything in the musical secret world he has created.